Natalie has a 3-point bustle. That means we have 3 spots down in the train that we're gonna lift up to the upper portion of the train. So we're gonna end up having 3 ribbon loops that we pull out of the train and 3 ribbon sets of strings we pull out of the upper portion. We're gonna start with pulling out these strings. So come on closer, and we're gonna come up here. Now on wedding day, all of this will be done together and this little bow will be under the dress. So you'll just see what's here. And right along this center, we have some lace that is kind of snapped over the zipper. I'll just quickly show that while we're on this video because this was new. So we have this lace that snaps over so that we don't see the top of the zipper. But something to notice is right under the second snap, under this little flower, there is a little ribbon knot underneath. There's a little end there, and I'm gonna pull that out a little bit so you can see. We're gonna go ahead and pull this all the way out. There is a button that is attached to the back of this, so this stops when that button hits the fabric. So that is something that we need. And then over here on the opposite side, just on the front, there's another piece of that ribbon. We're gonna pull that one out as well. Okay, so if we have 1 string set right here in the center. Now, if we go over about 3 inches and down a little bit on this leaf here on the right, there's another set of ribbon strings. I'll pull those out. And at that same spot about over here on this flower, there's another set. So we have 3 sets of ribbon strings that we're gonna bustle to. Now, the skirt, all these loops, it's really hard to find. So what I like to do is go to the very back center and I lift this up. And most of these layers are the same length, except there is 1 little mini piece of tulle underneath. And this is the layer that all the loops are under. First thing you'll notice is on that there is this organza ribbon loop. This is not part of the bustle. It is a hang strap for the dress when she's not wearing it. So ignore that, but we're gonna keep going down that seam until we get to here. And this little button with the ribbon there, on the outside of the dress is where we pull that loop out. So this is the one in the center. And if we look higher up here to the right, there's one, and higher on the left, there's one there. So I like to start on my sides and use the metal one as kind of like a placement marker. So I'm gonna grab this right button over here and hold on to that, and it'll take me to the outside of the fabric. So you will be able to see my fingers moving here, but this ribbon is kind of tricky to see by itself. But right here on this leaf, which is on the same seam line that these ribbons are hanging on, right there, that ribbon is kind of sticking out a tiny bit. I can feel it. Sometimes it becomes hard to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out. Ugh. Helps when you don't just get your nails done, guys. All right, so there's that little ribbon. And now it's a little loop. So that button behind stops this loop from getting any bigger. I'm gonna take one of those strings that are directly above that, stick it through the loop, and then we're gonna bring this all the way up. When we tie this, we don't want it to hang down. We want that to go up as high as possible. This can feel a little heavy, so I like to stick my knee underneath and hold the weight of the train up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tie this into a bow. You don't need to tie it into a knot. A bow will be just fine. The ribbons are very grippy. Okay. And then a trick I'm gonna quickly show you about this is we're gonna twist these ribbons up real nice and tight near the top. And then I'm gonna use my thumb and push those ribbons through the loop and pull them backwards. And that will just have them hide behind instead of being all out. So that's the right side. We're gonna go back underneath, finding that shorter piece of tulle. There's that little loop. We're going all the way back up here on the left to find that button. And we're gonna go back to the outside. Just like that one, this is on that seam, and this one is just right here on that applique. There we go. Little tiny loop, and they're just tying it up just the same way that we did the last time. Again, I'm gonna use my knee If you had a second person, they could hold it up instead, but you can do it by yourself and that'll work just fine. All right, again, just a nice bow will be just fine. And then you can twist that up and stick it behind so that those ribbons hide. Last one is just down the center seam. There's all that. There's our shorter piece of tulle. There's our loop. And there's that last button here. Okay, this one is down the center seam on this little applique here in the center. There we go. And there's that loop here. And this one, again, is going here to the center. This bustle point we will actually need to take down when it's time to get the bride out of the dress because it is over the zipper. I like to make sure that, I'm not tying anything in knots so that you can untie it carefully. If for some reason it does get tied into a knot, you can just clip it and she can get out just fine. But if you're careful, you can just carefully undo that easily enough. So there's that centerpiece. The last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna fluff this. She's gonna dance and move and this dress will do whatever it wants, but we like to have it tamed when we're taking photos. So always find that back center, bring that one forward so that it can bring down real soft. Any of these other points, you can find the center of them, and then I like to fold it in and so that it kind of goes behind this other piece. Same with right here at the side. Just kind of fold the peak of it down. And that is her 3-point bustle.